this is Ginger with my sister Scrapper. I'm back to share with you the completion of the Sweet Day mini album. What we're going to do in this part of the tutorial is I'm going to show you how I created the cover and how I attached the hinges and the pages. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and wrap our chipboard for our cover. So what you'll need is 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you have it, or if you have 12 by, if you're using the 12 by 12, just go ahead and cut it down to 8.5 by 12. And just you'll need 2 pieces like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to put 2 pieces of, if you have the 1/2 inch, that's great. But if you have 1/4 inch score tape, put that on one edge, on the 11 inch side here. Go ahead and burnish it really well, and pull the backing off. And go ahead and attach these 2 pieces together, just like that. Okay. So now we have one long piece of paper, because what we're going to do is take your pieces of chipboard, and the first one should be one of your small pieces. That's 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. That's going to go here first, and then we're going to have our spine piece, which is going to be 1 3/4 by 6 1/4. And we're going to lay that right there, and you do want to leave a little tiny gap. If you want to use something to measure, go ahead and use 2 pieces of chipboard, or you can just eyeball it like I do, but you do need to leave a space. The next piece is going to be your back piece, like so. And then you're going to add your other spine piece right here. And then you're going to go ahead and add your last front cover. Now what I think I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to go ahead and put, so I have my seam right in the center back of my piece. So I'm going to put that down, and you want to make sure that you leave at least an inch or so from the top and the bottom. And then the best way to do that, to make sure you get it even, is I like to use my little ruler here and just make sure that I'm kind of straight. So you'll go ahead and you can either do it from the bottom or the top. I'll go ahead and do it from the bottom. And just go ahead and we're going to put it just like this. So go ahead and take your score tape, and you're going to go ahead and add score tape to the perimeter of the back side of your chipboard, and then also in the middle. And then go ahead and burnish it really well, and then take the score tape off. The backing, not the score tape, hello. Take the backing off your score tape. And then we're going to stick it down. My favorite thing to do, right? Stick it down. Best advice I ever got from my little niece. Let's just stick it down. I love that. She's the best. Okay, so go ahead and make sure you have it right. Your 6 1/2 should be going the width, and your 6 1/4 is the height of your album. So go ahead and line up your ruler so it's straight on your bottom edge of your paper here. And then go ahead and stick it down. Okay, there's the first piece. Pardon my reach, but got to get my handy dandy little ruler here. So then we'll go ahead and put our spine pieces in next. And again, you're going to put score tape around the perimeter of your chipboard, and I just put a piece down the middle. Take off the backing. And go ahead And make sure you leave a little bit of a space here. Make sure you got it straight. Do I have it straight? Otherwise your pages will be, your book will be crooked. Okay, there we go. And you can even use your little ruler here as a guideline. And leave a little bit of a space in between. At least the thickness of your chipboard. And stick that piece down. Next is going to be your cover. Again, score tape around the perimeter and score tape in the center. Alrighty, get our handy dandy ruler here, because I want to make sure my book is straight. I am just a little smidgen off there, but it's all good. And place your front cover piece down. That. Fabulous. Okay, over on this side, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to put our spine piece in, and then we'll put our last cover in. Again, score tape around the perimeter and a piece down the center. There we have it. Go ahead and make sure you burnish it really good. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and take our handy dandy little ruler. I love this thing. Again, it's called the Perfect Trim Ruler. It's great for mitering your corners on your chipboard. And what we're going to do is I'm going to line it up here. What you want to do, if you don't have this ruler, that's fine. Just go ahead and you want to leave at least 1/8 of an inch, or the thickness of your chipboard, of a space. And you're just going to cut that off at an angle. So it's going to be just like this. And you can draw a pencil line and then cut it with your scissors, or you can use your handy dandy little craft knife, which I don't have right now, so we'll just go ahead and use scissors. So I'm just going to draw a little line here. Okay. So then go ahead and trim off your corners like so. If you want to trim some of this off, you can, which will help because you won't have as much bulk on the inside. As long as you have at least 1 inch to overlap, you're good to go. So I think I will. I'm going to cut some of that off on both ends. Okay. Now get your score tape out again. Gotta love that score tape. And you go ahead and you're going to put score tape along from one end of the chipboard here through your little gaps. Oopsie. Right on the edge. All the way to the end. I like to do the long sides first and then do my short sides. And then do the same thing on your cardstock, right here on the top. And go ahead and burnish your tape down. so it sticks really well. And again, gotta love my little tool here. I got this at scrapadabadoo.com. And I actually got the lifter, not the bone folder, but it's a Teflon. It's a fabulous tool. Okay. So now what I like to do in order to make it wrap a little bit easier is like take my bone folder and go around the perimeter of my chipboard. It just helps you to fold it. Okay. So go ahead and take off your score tape liner right here. Again, I like to do the long sides first, so go ahead and pull off the chipboard backing here on the score tape as well as that's on the cardstock. And the way I like to get it started is I just like to stand it up, start in the middle, and fold it over. Just like that. And give it a good press with your bone folder or this fabulous little tool. And then I like to just run my right along the edge here. Okay, go ahead and flip it around and do the other side. Here's where we're going to go ahead and miter our corners. What you want to do is take your bone folder, the end of it, and you'll have these little extensions. And you're going to go ahead and just fold each one of those in. I got this one a little long, but that's okay. It's all good. Pull your tape off. And fold it up. And wrap it over. And again, I like to run my tool right along the side. And if your corners don't turn out that great, you can always, put a fabulous little metal corner on there, or those cute little Tim Holtz things, or it's all good. So go ahead and do the same thing. Go ahead and take the backing off of your score tape, and take your bone folder, and you're just gonna fold those little creases right in, those little tabs right over your chipboard corners. And then fold it up, press it down. Okay, here we go. We did it. Now you have your one long piece of chipboard here. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead, and I like to use my bone folder with this little tool here and just start my little creases. Fold it really gently up. So this is the front cover. This is going to be the spine piece. So we're going to just really gently, because we don't want our paper to tear. Sometimes the papers don't play nice. And don't fold it over like that, because then your paper will tear. You just want to fold it at a 90-degree angle. And then flip it around to the other side. Ta-da, there you go. That's going to be our little mini album cover. So there you go. Now what we're going to do, so it's going to open like this. And we're going to have our pages on this side, and it's going to be our back. Okay? Fabulous. Now, on the original mini album, what I did, and again I would show that to you, but I don't have it here, is I had a little piece that I attached along here that was a flap that I flapped open like this. So we can add that, and I'll give you those measurements for that piece, cardstock, as soon as we get our hinges on. So go ahead, and you should have your hinges, our two cute little hinges that look just like this. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do on the back side of your hinges is you're going to want to put score tape on both outside edges, on the 1/4 inch folds that you had left on the bottom, and then as close to the last fold as you have, and then some more in the middle. So you're going to do it just like that. Okay, and then go ahead and take your hinges, and in order for them to fit on your pages really well, it's really good if you take your scissors and just go ahead and angle each one of your hinges on both sides. So I did it to this one already. So what you're going to want to do is take your scissors and go ahead and just angle the tip of them off. Okay, just like this. Just cut them at an angle. That way your pocket pages will go on a lot easier. Okay. It's easier to do that before you stick it down, because then it's kind of hard to get your scissors in there. So go ahead and angle that off. Okay, so what we're going to do is, so we can offset our pages, is what we're going to do is take your ruler and get a pencil and take your first hinge, and you've got your crease right here where your fold is for your first cover right here. You're going to go ahead and take your hinge, and you're going to line up the first hinge is going to be a 1/2 inch away from that fold. So fold it up here and then take your ruler and make a little tick mark that's just a 1/2 inch away from that fold. Okay, so that's where we're going to line up our hinge for this left side. So then what we're going to do over on the other side is we're going to take it and we're going to our ruler again, and this time on the inside hinge, the closest one to the back, we're going to go ahead and put this hinge right here a 1/2 inch away from that fold. So go ahead and make another mark with your pencil, a 1/2 inch here. Okay, and we're going to line this hinge up with that. That way our pages will offset when we close it. Okay, so go ahead and here comes the scary part. Not really. Go ahead and since our pages are going to be our covers are 1/4 inch bigger than our pages, you can go ahead and just use your ruler if you want, or I just eyeball it. But you want to make sure it's evenly spaced. So if you want to take your ruler and just lay it on there so you can see the 1/4 inch, it's all good. So go ahead and take the backing off the backing off the score tape on the first set of hinges. And go ahead and again, here's our little pencil mark that's 1/2 inch away from this first space, and we're going to put our first hinge right up there with it, and go ahead and stick it down. Okay, and then make sure you go ahead and burnish your tape down really good, especially in between your hinges. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So go ahead and take the backing off of your score tape. And then this time we're going to go ahead and take our hinge, and our pencil mark is a 1/2 inch away from the inside fold right here, and take the hinge that's farthest to the left, and you're going to go ahead and line that one up. And again, make sure that you've kind of got it pretty much even, because otherwise your pages will be crooked. But again, don't sweat it. It's all good. Maybe if I could put this little ruler on here. It's being naughty. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's about right. And go ahead and put your hinge down. And press it down. Here we go. Yay, we did it. And again, make sure you burnish your score tape, especially in between your page hinges, because this is what's going to hold your book together. Okay, now that we've done this, we've covered up our little gaps. So we need to go back and redo this again. And again, just gently fold your cover up. And then again, this piece is going to be right here. Okay, so it's gonna look like that. And do the same thing on this side. Now on this side, we're gonna have a bigger space in between our cover and our first hinge because that way our pages are offset. And I did leave a lot of room between the pages and the covers just because that way you can bulk it up with some bulky embellishments. But you could trim your spine down a little bit smaller if you wanted by maybe a quarter of an inch, make it like 1.5 inches instead of 1 3/4. But there you go. That's your cover. Hello, how stinking cute is that? Love it. So there we go. That's our book. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put your pages on there. But what you need to do is, again, score tape on both sides of your hinges like this. And if you have the 1/2 inch score tape, it's fabulous, but I don't, so it's all good. You're going to put it on both sides. And don't go over your score line like this. And you'll do that to all of your hinges. Get them covered with score tape. And then what you'll do is take your pages. And what I did is I went ahead and I cut my design paper to go on my my pages first. And then I inked around all the edges. So I'll give you those measurements. For your mats for your pages, what you want to do is cut since your pages are 6 by 6, you can make them either 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, or if you want a larger border, you can make them 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I cut mine to 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. You're going to need 12 pieces because we need to do front and back. We have 6 pages, so you'll need 12 of that size. And then for your inserts, what you'll need is, these are our inserts that are going to go. And when you go to put your papers on, make sure that because your pages are going to overlap like this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to have your page here. So it's going to attach on this side like this, and then your other page is going to attach on this side like this. So your openings will be in the middle of your book. So when you go to put your inserts in, and if you have directional paper, make sure that you have you're going to go just like this, and then the other one is going to go like this. So they're going to go just like that. Okay? So you want to make sure if you have a directional paper that you have your flaps going the right way. So what you want to do is put 3 of them like this, because they're going to go in our book like this, and then the other 3 are going to go in our book like this. Okay? So they're going to go like this when you open them up. Okay, so the measurements that you're going to need for your design paper for your photo mats is, I cut mine at 5 3/8 this way by 5 5/8 high, because I wanted just a small little tiny trim around there. If you want a larger border, you can make them 5 1/4 this way by 5 1/2. And for this little piece right here, that strip, you're going to need 12 of this size here, and then for this little piece you'll need 12 of these, and I made mine 3/4 of an inch by 5 5/8, and those will go just like that. Okay, and you'll need one for this side and one for the inside. Again, if you want a little bit more of a border, you can make them a 1/2 inch strip by 5 1/2. So if you have some stickers that you want to use, some border stickers, that'd be great on there too, but I didn't in this collection, so I just cut strips, and mine are going to be 3/4 of an inch by 5 5/8, and you need 12 of those sizes. Okay. So there are your pages. They're going to go on just like that, and what you do is you pull your tape off, and you just go ahead and I'm going to put the first one on here. I like to decorate my pages before I put them in my book, so I'm only going to show you one how to do this. So what you do is you have this already decorated, hopefully, and then you're going to go ahead and just, it's a pocket, pull the tape off of the both ends, and just go ahead and stick it on there and make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom. And we cut them at an angle so they should fit on there really well. And just go ahead and stick it down. So there you go. That's your first page, and then you'll have your insert that will go in just like this. Cute, huh? Okay, so now when we get here to the back, if you wanted to add that back flap like I did in the original mini album, what you need is a piece of cardstock that matches. I'm going to use the craft, and you're going to make it 6 3/8 wide by 5 inches high, and then you're going to score at 4 1/2. So let's get the scoreboard, and put it on the 5-inch side and go ahead and score at 4 1/2. And go ahead and fold on your score mark. And you go ahead and put your tape along here. And I'm going to put 2 pieces. Pull the backing off. And if you want, you can go ahead and round your corners, which I'm going to do that right now before I put it in there. It's always easier to round your corners before you stick your stuff down. And then get your cover again. And this is the top of my book, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right down here. And I'm going to line it up with where I put my hinges. That way it's going to be even with my pages. So go ahead and we made it just a hair smaller, just like 1/8 of an inch smaller than the back of our spine. So I'm going to go ahead and center it like this. Pull it straight. Press it down. And that's going to be your flap. Okay. So then what you can do is you can have a flap here. Now, if you do want to put a magnet, always put your magnets in before you put your design paper on. I did have somebody ask about how to attach the magnets. How I like to attach them is I try to put them in the center of my paper, because if you put it close to the edge, it's really difficult. Even though the magnets are super thin, it's really difficult for it to look flat. So try to keep it in the center of your project. That way you won't be able to see it as well, and it's easier to cover up. Okay, but if you put it close to the edge, your paper's not going to stick down. So there you go. That's the back inside flap, and then all you have to do is cut your design paper to cover. I do have the measurements if you want the measurements for covering your covers and the spine, and I have those right here. So the back piece for the outside is going to be like this, and you're going to need 2 pieces like this, and I will have a little bit of space, but that's all good. And then your cover like this. Okay. And I thought I wrote my measurements down, but I guess it didn't. So here we go. For your two covers here on the outside, the small pieces, they're going to be 3 1/8 by 6 1/8, and you'll need 2 of those. Your back piece is going to be 6 3/8 by 6 1/8, and your two spine pieces are going to be 1 5/8 by 6 1/8. Okay, and that will be the same measurement on this for the inside here as well. And again, you can make them a little bit smaller around if you want a larger border of the craft paper to show. So there you have it, everybody. That's the tutorial on how I made the little Sweet Day mini album. And I will finish my mini album and I'll come back and show you later. So there you go, everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, I'll have the measurements down in the description box for this. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.